Okay, well, the first thing I wanted to kick this off with was because this is kind of like relevant in the news. Guys, Liam Payne, our childhood.
I know. Very
Liam
sad.
Payne from One Direction tragically passed away last week, and the internet has been a wreck over it.
Yeah.
I feel like part of it is our collective, mourning our collective childhood and like preteen years.
You don't expect like someone who's either a little bit older or around your age and like you saw growing up with you to die this young. It's very tragic.
Yeah, and the way it happened,
I know.
it's horrible.
It's so dark.
It's so sad. And he leaves behind like a 7-year-old kid. It's just really. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
with
really
Cheryl
sad.
Cole, who was the judge when he first went on the X Factor when he was 14. Isn't that crazy? They didn't start dating then, but that's when they end up with. You might meet them at 14 when you're trying out for the X Factor. Hey, vintage lovers. Are you looking for a one-of-a-kind piece? Some designer duds, perhaps? Look no further than Funny Girl Vintage. It's your go-to destination.
It is.
For curated, beautiful designer outfits, vintage fashion. Handbags, shoes, nightgowns. Vibes. There's a story with each piece. Timeless classics. Treasure trove, vintage glam. Check out their website, funnygirlvintage.com. And as a treat to our listeners, guess what?
What?
You can get 10% off your first order with code NIGHT. That's right. Just use the code NIGHT at checkout. And you'll enjoy a sickening discount on your first purchase. So we thank Funny Girl Vintage for sponsoring this episode, all of our episodes. Our
number one sponsor. I'm actually wearing Funny Girl Vintage jeans.
Those are great
These
jeans
are
on you.
silver
Do you want to
tab.
stand? Can you stand up and show them?
Sure, I'll stand up and show
Silver
them.
tab Levi's. I think those are worth a show because you tried those on and they did fit perfectly, which is crazy. Look at those. I mean, that's the perfect Levi jean.
Really good.
Clearly not the model of the group, but
they're really good in the ass.
They are really good in the ass, which is hard for me because I have bizarre proportions because I was supposed to be close to 6 feet and then my parents gave me too many antibiotics and stunted my growth. So I have like very long legs and a very long torso for someone who's 5'3".
Dad's girlfriend, speaking of a little bit more lighthearted subject, crazy story. When my dad was probably 13, 14, something like that. He had a crush on this girl. And he actually has a giant chunk out of his arm, a scar, because he saved this little girl from this boxer dog that was chasing her. And when they were kids, and he like pushed her out of the way and he jumped up on a car and the dog jumped up. And my dad has like a huge scar from a dog bite. My dad reconnected with her at like 60.
Whoa. Wait, how old was she when the dog attack happened?
Oh, they were like kids. They were like 12 or 13.
Crazy.
Yes.
Wow. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But also kind of tragic that your dad has a chunk of his arm.
No, but it was worth it because he got the girl in the end.
It's not that bad.
Oh,
but it is
the
reason that it is bad. It's just that it scared me when I was a kid, and that's why I'm kind of afraid of dogs, like a little bit.
Sorry, I don't think I helped with that.
Yeah,
that was a love bite.
that was
not a it wasn't like vicious. It was just like
Izzie's dog. Izzie has an Albanian dog that was a rescue, and it's Kiko. He's the sweetest dog, but he gets kind of scared when new people walk in the house. And we all came over one day and we're podcast prepping, and he like nipped Alana.
At this point, I was not a new person.
Yeah, no, he was.
So the jury's still out on whether or not Kiko is a little bit racist, but
Wait a minute. Did you say Albanian dog?
Yeah, he's Albanian. He's Albanian.
From Albania.
What does that mean?
He's from Albania.
He's from Albania. He was abused in Albania and was rescued.
Yeah. His tail was cut off.
Heard of a dog
his ears
to
were.
Nationality.
Well, he was born in Albania.
You didn't know that dogs are born in other countries sometimes?
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
You thought dogs were all from America?
This is a Korean
typical
dog,
American.
or like a.
Well, it's a dog.
Are you erasing his identity?
It's a dog that was born in a foreign land.
Off the rails within 9 minutes of the podcast.
Perfectly on time.
So a commenter recently commented on one of our clips that our viral shrimp clip posted right here. They called out Alana for being an Aquarius because that response was like so Aquarian, I guess. But it made me think, Which astrological sign of the opposite sex have you been most attracted to and why?
That's a good question.
I would say it used to be for me Aquarius Men.
E.
I know.
Sorry.
No.
Love you.
Love Aquarius Men. I have Aquarius Venus in my chart. Aquarius Men are so emotionally unavailable.
Okay.
But yeah, Aquarius Men. But recently it's been Leo Men, which is like probably worse than Aquarius Men. I don't know.
My rising is Leo.
Yeah,
So
and
are you in love with me?
I read that
Maybe.
and I was like, okay, that makes so much sense
Yeah.
because you do have that
Yeah, that does track.
that powerful energy when you come out the gate. Like you're not afraid to speak your mind.
Mostly. Mostly.
What
That
about
makes
you?
sense. I don't know if it's as much. It's like really tough because it's like I think of people specifically in my mind, but
Yeah, that's the point.
significant relationship that I had with an Aquarius man. Love an Aquarius man. Very difficult with an Aquarius man, but also that might in part be because I am an Aquarius.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say.
I have a belief that like a lot of Aquarius and Aquarius relationships don't really work.
I think two signs of the
in
same of any don't
relationships.
work.
In any I think there's some that actually like
Yeah.
do work. Like for example, like Geminis.
Yeah, I
Like
was gonna say
Geminis love
Gemini.
to be together
That's
and it works.
true.
But the thing with Aquarius, like I think Aquarians are clowns, and we don't like to compete to be the funniest clown in the room. And when you have somebody who's like self-aware, like one of my good friends, Clara, we're both Aquarians, and I think we really play off each other, and it's really nice, and it feels a little bit like a twin kind of kinship when
Yes.
we're together. But I've also known other Aquarius women where there's a sense of, and it's funny, it's never really physical competition, like aesthetic or like beauty. It's always
Intellectual.
humor
Air.
or intellect,
Air.
and it's really annoying and exhausting after a while.
I'm sure.
And I think that sometimes in Aquarian relationships, romantic ones, I think a similar dynamic can kind of play out, some unconscious desire to, which can be fun
yeah.
in the dynamic, but it just depends.
You're my
But
first Aquarius friend I've ever had.
Really?
I've never had an Aquarius friend before. You're my first.
The best one, so.
I feel like you are one of my friends that definitely intellectually stimulate me, and you open my perspective up to things that I wouldn't necessarily consider if I had not had it presented in front of me. So it's an interesting dynamic.
Well, it's funny. Your wisdom is very, I feel like, grounded and rooted in a reality that's difficult for me sometimes because I'm always floating off into space. Which reminds me of my mom. My mom's also a Virgo. My mom does that because
Shout out Gina.
I can speak like conceptually and about like the ether forever, but it's really
Totally.
hard for me to understand some things on Earth sometimes.
Fair.
So that's where you really broaden my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like in a practical way.
Yeah.
You'll say something very practical and like, well, what about this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
We
I
could do
guess.
that. We could do that.
Yeah.
Mine has been the sign that I'm always most attracted to is Scorpio.
That checks out for you.
I know it's
Tiny
so
horny.
Scorpio
tiny
men,
horny. Yeah,
To me, are like something I've never even.
it's always the most toxic, and
Yeah.
but it's always the hottest.
Actually, you're the
Moon?
moon.
Virgo moon,
Oh,
Virgo sun, Virgo moon, Pisces rising.
interesting.
Good, you got that balance of Pisces in there.
Yeah.
Taurus, Moon.
Oh, interesting.
I say that like I know anything.
That means
I
you're
actually
very loyal.
don't know very much.
I'm very loyal.
You wanna
very
learn?
stubborn.
I'm
what
Gemini
do-
moon.
Gemini Moon.
My
Ooh.
boyfriend Frank is a Gemini sun.
Should I pay another
So.
$3.99 to do your guys' compatibility chart?
Wait, okay. I feel
Yeah.
like Gemini and Aquarius. That's a good.
We're air. I told him I got mad because he hadn't been listening, and I told him I'm gonna start talking shit about him on the podcast, and he's just gonna like see it all at some point. But
yeah, Frank, don't you don't have to listen. No worries.
Yeah,
No worries. We didn't say anything.
We
about
didn't
it.
say anything.
yeah, Frank. We didn't say anything about you.
We didn't say anything.
I'm gonna
about
cut
you.
that clip. Okay.
Yeah.
And post that. And then
Perfect.
Post
Yeah.
it as a reel.
Make him stress.
Yeah.
My boyfriend and I are very, very different.
But that's what I think makes it work.
Yes, but
It's-
unified by humor, which I think is
Mhm.
very.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's
I think if
beautiful.
you have the same sense of humor or like a similar sense of humor as someone, whether it's friend or dating, that just like is more powerful than maybe any other bond. I don't know, especially
Yeah.
when you kind of have I don't know if elevated's the right word, but like you have a certain sense of humor that not everyone's gonna get. When you find that person that gets it, that can be so magical.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he really helps with my mental illness, because it's funny. I always thought that as someone who's inclined towards depression, that I needed to be with somebody who was also depressed, because it was the only way that they could understand.
Yeah, I get that.
But Frank has never in his life experienced depression.
Ugh.
He'll have maybe 20 minutes of a bad time. I've seen it. One time he was having a really hard time, and we were in Arizona, and he was like really in a dark place. I hadn't seen him like that really ever. And we went to a cocktail bar in Scottsdale.
Downtown Scottsdale.
And he looked at me and he said, if I'm ever feeling down, just take me to a cocktail bar.
That's
and
such an Italian vibe.
No, literally,
so
it was like the hint of like a Frank Sinatra energy, and he was like,
exactly.
Bring me to
I'm
a
restored.
Frank is a little
bar
Frank
if I'm
Sinatra
ever
vibe.
sad.
He is, but he always says that, like Al Pacino, he's going to start shrinking, and he says, "Are you ready for me to be 3 feet tall?"
Did you see
in the end?
Did you see Al Pacino in that interview with his Shrek phone case?
Literally, that's what Frank. Every time we see Al Pacino, he warns me. He's like, "I'm going to turn into that."
Al Pacino's a doll.
Literally
A figurine, a Russian nesting doll.
I treasure that man.
I just love that he's like having a baby.
Yeah, at
no,
like
he's
800
like
years old.
so small.
So does De Niro. Like those men just don't stop. They got to have some, future Nepo babies. Oh.
Thank you guys for submitting your advice questions. Again, keep them coming. tinyurl.com/night school advice, questions, confessions, submit it all. Recently, one of my newer friends in a newer friend group, 4 of us total, decided she wanted to go to Disneyland. I met these people at a tech company I work for, but we got close because we were all around the same age. After I buy the tickets, said friend, who originally suggested the trip, texts me 2 weeks later saying she can't pay her bills, car, rent. I felt bad because I make more than her, so I told her I'd cover the ticket, hotel, Disney flight, all of it, which I was totally okay with. It was her first time going to Disney, so I was super excited for her to go. When we go to Disney first day, all she did was bitch and have an attitude. It felt like she didn't want to be there. Later in the day, she tells us she's going to leave to go hook up with some guy she met on Twitter. But she did stay in the park with us until it closed.
This is feeling like the Zola Twitter thing.
I know. It is.
And it also feels like a math problem in school where they're like, if Susie has 4 apples and Jimmy has 6.
Next day, I wake up bright and early for day 2, but it took her 3 hours to get ready because she was busy getting plastered with the other 3. Keep in mind, it's 11 a.m. During our walk to the park, she smokes a fat blunt in front of families. Honestly, not mad at her about that.
Yeah, me.
Now I'm stuck taking care of 3 drunk people at an amusement park, and I have to keep stopping to take someone to the bathroom or get water. After 2 rides, she dips because she might be pregnant. Yeah, all of a sudden, she's pregnant. Context, a few days earlier, she found out her ex has a 2-year-old. This is crazy.
This is a Tyler Perry movie. You know?
Medea goes to Disneyland. Around 6 p.m., my other 2 friends leave because they weren't feeling well. I stayed in the park until it closed alone. When I get back around midnight, none of them are in the hotel. They get back around 2 a.m. plastered again. These people sound like alcoholics.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I'm on IG, and the friend I paid for is on a weekend trip to Vegas. Am I wrong for being angry? I feel bad because she was having issues and has severe depression, but I'm low-key over it. My core friend group thinks I should drop her, but I do really love her. What should I do?
I'm going to take that one, drop her, call the police. Everything about that was horrific. There should be no deliberation. That's insane. Yeah, there's literally no deliberation on that whatsoever. All of that is terrible. You should drop all of the friends.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Everyone you went to Disney with.
Every single person
Yeah.
that was involved in that situation or knew of it, every person that told you to consider, before rushing to judgment, any person, your therapist, fire them. Everything about that. Move.
Change jobs. He or she met them at her job.
How does this woman
new job
hold a job also?
How does this girl she's getting pregnant and plastered?
It's totally valid of you to be angry that she's in Vegas, but also she didn't pay for that. It's not like she is. Someone else paid for that.
Scammer.
Let her. Yeah, she's a
She's
scam
a
artist.
scammer.
She's Anna Delvey.
Yeah.
No, she's not Anna Delvey.
Yeah,
I love
you're
Anna
right.
Delvey.
I would never put.
Do not put this unnamed harlot in the same sentence as Anna
alcoholic.
Delvey.
Yeah, you need to find better friends. I think anybody who's gonna, if you paid for her trip and she's gonna take the whole time just to get fucked up and not even hang out with you or enjoy the trip with her or enjoy the trip with you, that's a shitty friend.
How did she afford the alcohol? If she can't afford a Disneyland ticket, where'd you get the alcohol? Where'd you get the blunt?
Period. Also, how
are
are
you
you
drinking at Disneyland? That's
how
a
are
nightmare.
you smoking weed at Disney?
11?
Don't they just open the don't they open the ground and they suck
maybe
you
in
into
the walking,
Disney?
maybe walking.
Oh,
in,
downtown
Disney.
or something.
Yeah.
It's like, also, why are you getting drunk at Disneyland at 11 a.m.? That is truly my nightmare.
That's tragic.
That's my nightmare.
That's tragic.
Yeah, that's what you do on
the
like a
saddest
Cancun
thing
vacation.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
get drunk at 11 a.m. and ruin all your friendships. You don't do that at Disneyland.
Anaheim.
Yeah. No, you have every right to be angry. I don't think you should stay friends with these people. They sound like lames. And good for you for not getting that fucked up on a Tuesday at Disney.
Well, why would you? Truly, why
yeah.
would you? I've seen people do like drinking tours.
Disney
But that's
adults.
not really.
You guys seen the Disney bounding? Is that what you're going to talk about?
Oh, I love Disney bounding. That's so
Which
cool.
one is that? I've seen a lot of Disney.
I'm on Disney bounding TikTok. It's where
Love.
people, so at Disneyland, you're not allowed to dress up as the characters because it's like a violation of the Disney rules.
As
Because
an
they have
adult,
people
kids
as an
can.
adult because
Oh, yeah, because it could get confusing.
and
yeah.
it could like ruin a child's life if somebody's drunk, like dressed up as
Yeah.
Belle and is like, "Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Hey, little
smoking.
fucker.
I'm your favorite princess." Yeah, hey, you little fucker. So instead, people do this thing called Disney bounding, where they create
So
like
funny.
interpretations where like if they're doing the Little Mermaid, they'll wear like a purple shirt with like a green sparkly skirt and like a red headband. And I'm on the TikTok algorithm of these. It's amazing.
They get so creative.
I
really do.
I have to say, like, I like unironically watch them now where I'm like, you killed that.
Yeah.
You do look like Olaf from Frozen. That's a really creative
I
interpretation.
do think there should be a list of adults who go to Disney over like twice a year. Like the government needs to track these people because it's a level of mental illness I'm not okay with.
No, let them live. Like, if you want that to be your life and
I
that's
think
the
you
way
need
you're
to be put
spending
on
your
a
paycheck,
list.
keep them there.
I'm
Like,
going to send you some of these Disney bounding because part of
Yeah,
the thing that's really amazing about it is that
Have you seen those
these
mentally ill
people-
girls who are literally crying? They see the Ferris wheel or whatever, and they're like, "Oh my god! Like, look at it! Like that is lock her up, lock her up."
I understand. Okay, it's this one account in particular. It's called Dear and Darling. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I
yeah,
think so.
Dear and Darling.
is it the blonde girl?
No, it's a woman. And this guy, and the guy dances. And
yes,
there's so many kids.
I've seen.
So
I've
the craziest thing about it is when the girl is doing like get ready with me videos, like she'll be like, get ready with me to go to Disneyland. She seems so normal and grounded and like kind of chill. And I watch these videos and I'm like watching her as a 40-something, 50-something woman, 40-something, sorry, don't be rude.
She's that old.
Yeah, no, they have kids. They have
it's
like
called
20
Disney
kids.
adult for a reason.
Yeah. But
It's not
she's
just, like,
cool.
22-year-olds.
She's like
It's
she's like getting
adults.
dressed and she's like,
Yeah.
okay, so anyway,
Yeah.
and she's like actually chill. And then she's like, and this is my bound. And I'm like,
My bound.
you slayed that
Ooh.
bound.
Okay, girl. Hey
Okay.
guys.
Next question. I need advice. There's a guy who one day just randomly decided he wanted to be in our friend group. It's been months and he hasn't left. We've tried hiding or eating lunch at different places. So I think this person is in high school. We've tried hiding or eating lunch in different places, but he always finds us. He's constantly including himself into our plans. One time we were doing Secret Santa and he legit made himself a list and sent it all to us. What should we do? We're all too scared to tell him we don't like him.
Accept him. He's bought his way in via.
I love that there's a theme and it's scammers, grifters, and like self-ingratiating weirdos.
That's the name of the episode. Okay, so I want to know though. I wish you had told us why you don't like him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I really want to know.
that's true.
Because like, can you respond back and tell us why you don't like him? Because if it's a valid reason, we can work with that. But if it's just because he's like annoying, like slightly annoying.
Also, maybe your other friends like him. Like, you don't
Yeah,
know
do
that.
your
That's
other
the
friends
thing. You
like
could be
him?
the one who's like, oh, he bothers me. But like, if he's really like, I think he would have caught the hint if everyone really did not like him. But maybe
some
not.
people no.
maybe
Some
not.
people really don't catch the hint.
Some people have no self
Some
awareness.
some people have no self-awareness. We need to know why you don't like him.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's say this is a valid thing. Like, what if this guy's an asshole? Like, what if this guy's an asshole and is
Let's
mean
say
to
for
them?
the sake of this argument that he's an asshole.
He's an asshole, and
He's
he's like
sitting down. He's just throwing his weight around. He's basically Biff from Back to the Future. And he's just a
exactly,
fucking
yeah.
asshole.
And he's just like he's telling people, you know,
I knew you'd laugh at that. That's my audience. That's my reference audience, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like, let's say, so he's like coming down and be like, your outfit's ugly, da-da-da-da-da, just being a dick. He comes over, you just have to be like, oh, here comes Joan Rivers, like, always got an opinion. Like, you got to just say some shit that's a light roast that could be taken as not totally bullying, but, you know.
That's kind of the kind of line that I'd hear in like a Netflix show about teens. And I'd be like, there's no way a teenager's going to say that to another teenager, but it's like a good roast.
Yeah.
Here comes Joan Rivers.
Here comes Joan Rivers.
You're like, how do these teens know this?
Yeah.
They're listening to Night School.
That's why.
Anybody else have thoughts?
I don't have an indirect
I just
approach
like
on this
high
one,
school's
honestly.
so hard. I hate to be the advocate of like.
It sounds like
suck
you
it
all
up.
need to eat your lunch in the bathroom from now on.
I know.
Like, here's the thing: is
Or find
typically
new friends.
Typically, the nerdy like reject eats their lunch in the bathroom, but it sounds like your whole friend group needs to start eating their lunches in the bathroom and just like hide from him in stalls and just very quietly eat together, like huddled over a toilet until he finds a new group of friends.
Or, I mean, you can. This is what the girls in high school did to me. They just stopped inviting me places and stopped. Like they would all congregate in a new place and eat lunch at a new place.
Sounds
And
like
like
It sounds like
doing
they've
that.
done
Yeah,
that.
they've tried, yeah.
I really do think you guys should accept this person and just because you never know too.
That's true.
When I got to a new school in my junior year in Arizona, there was this girl that I met, Alex, and like at first, like I truly thought she did not like me at all. And then we had a project together and it was like fine, but like I really didn't think she liked me. Like I thought there was like actual animosity, and there probably was. And I think she even admitted that she doesn't like me. And then she became my best friend throughout the rest of high school. She literally moved in with me at one point to my house. Like
I feel like also too, because you went to different schools in high school, you have an actual.
I've been the new kid
you've
so
been
many
the new
times,
kid,
and I've
yeah.
also been the kid that everyone calls annoying. And like I don't like to talk about it because I hate to like play like the victim about it, but I got bullied so many times.
Yeah.
At various schools, and people were so mean to me. Like I understand what it's like to honestly like be someone that nobody likes.
I mean, same.
So-
In high school, I had kind of a similar
I was like the annoying
situation.
kid to some people.
Yeah, I
Guys.
think, okay, if it's warranted, that's a different discussion. But if it's not warranted and you guys are just like, ugh, we don't like him, just be nice.
Literally get over it. Yeah.
Just be
get over
nice.
it.
Just be nice. Because here's the thing. You eat lunch with him and then it's over, right? Like you don't have to spend your time with this person. You know, you don't have to be around him all the time. You go to school, you come home. Also, here's a fun fact. That really annoying person that you're a dick to, there's a real high likelihood that they could become in a position of power and later on in life, and they're not going to forget that you were a dick to them. And this is coming from personal experience.
It's true. People do not forget. People do not forget.
It's true.
Who was unkind to them. I haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
Same.
And
I haven't forgotten.
I have been on both sides of this where I had a friend group in high school when I was coming from middle school to high school because our high school had a feeder school, the middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a group of girls that I was really close with. And I was coming from private school. So this friend group that I had made in middle school was like really the only people that I knew. And then we got to high school and they all kind of just, similar to this guy, they all just found me really annoying. And they were like, we don't want to hang out with you anymore. And they dropped me. And I had to kind of find new friends like around 9th, 10th grade. And it was really jarring because I was coming from private school, much smaller, group. And prior to that too, my private school was like, I was with the same kids from preschool to 6th grade. And so it was a really jarring experience. And I never forgot those girls and how mean they were to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not take it well later on and may have done some things that were not
Revenge fantasies.
nice. Yeah. Basically, I cursed this girl. This girl was talking shit like after we had separated and parted ways. And I was still really bitter about it because these girls were my really good friends. And, through a really like transitional period. And one of them was talking shit on the internet. And I confronted her in the quad at Pally. And I cursed this bitch out in front of everybody to the point where she like broke out in hives and started like weeping.
Wow.
And then I almost got suspended because
Powerful.
I was like getting in her face and stuff. And eventually I apologized, but we've never spoken since. And a part of me regrets it and a part of me doesn't. So just keep that in mind. Can you ever be platonic friends with someone you were in a situationship with before?
Situationship? Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm friends with some of my situationships.
I personally think it's like if you're in a situationship, there's usually like a key reason why you're not in a relationship.
Totally.
There's commitment issues or, just lack of emotional chemistry or like whatever it is. And typically once maybe not immediately after, because then you're just going to like keep coming back to them. But if some time passes and you're able to look at them and see why that it wasn't going to work, then you can absolutely be friends with them. And then you get to enjoy, one of you is going to potentially pine after the other one forever and be like, I fucked up. And it'll be kind of sick.
I think if the girl is not attracted to, I think if this situation can only work if the girl is no longer attracted to the guy.
I think it goes both ways. Because if the guy's still attracted to the girl, that's also like that can be a dark situation too.
I hate that. I've done that before where like a situationship ends, a few months go past and I'm like, oh, I still want to be friends with this guy. And then it's very clear that he cannot compartmentalize me as a friend.
Yeah, I think either way.
And it's like, so
either way, nobody likes to be looking in through a pane glass window.
I just find it easier as a woman to like set boundaries, and I feel like the guy will sit there and like wait forever and pine after you, but like eventually I feel like they just like move on. Like, and whereas the girl, I think it's much more toxic for them to pine after the guy and then like not
see him like dating.
And not
I think if
open
you have
themselves
feelings,
up energetically
women
to
are just
other
generally
options.
More in touch with their emotions.
I do think that, sometimes though the guy gets drunk and freaks out and is like, you whore, why don't you love me? Like,
No, very true.
That happens.
Yeah, that does.
Never happened to me, but it happens.
But I feel like also in that situation you can just be like, because I don't, and then it's like, and then they cry and they weep, and then the next day they feel stupid. But then if the girl does that, if the girl is in the situation who's like, you're a fucking asshole, why don't you love me? Then it's like much more embarrassing for them, and like I feel like my opinion is it only can work if the girl really does not have any sort of sexual attraction to the
I
guy
do agree with you that it's more pathetic when women are down bad than men.
Yeah.
See, I'm totally on a different thing here because I would rather yearn than be yearned for, because because I feel really, really guilty when I don't have feelings for somebody and they feel for me. I feel really guilty about it, and I feel like yearning, as maybe it's because I'm a writer. Yearning is very romantic. Yearning, I can write and yearn and be sad, and then also when I move on, and they know I've been yearning, and they spurned me. And I'm like, and we meet again and they're like, so you're with somebody now? And I'm like, yes, I no longer yearn. And they're like, but why didn't you yearn just a little bit longer? And I'm like, no, I'm done yearning. I've moved on. It's kind of sexy.
Yeah, it is.
I cannot relate to you to any less than that. Like this is, I can't.
Because it's vulnerability.
Like to yearn?
You don't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah. I don't like
yearning. And that's true vulnerability is like yearning for someone
openly
that doesn't.
Oh, I yearn very openly. I'm a very open yearner. Because I think here's the thing. Yearning. I understand, but I think it's actually, maybe I'm just making myself feel better, but I actually think it's not pathetic. Like,
no, I don't think it's pathetic.
I'm always
it's just
extremely
vulnerable.
open because people play it so cool with their feelings. So like I'll just tell people like, yeah, I really like you and I would love to be in a relationship. And then they're like, whoa, like, whoa. And I've made the mistake of doing this like really early. And always been told that it worked out for me eventually. Like my boyfriend now, literally, like we kissed once and he was like, I'm in love with you.
And you're like, well, yeah.
Like we've been friends for a long time, but still we kissed one time and I was like, finally someone's matching my freak. But I'm always very open about my yearning because I think that it puts people in a position where they have to do something. Like they can't ignore it.
That's a good point.
So they either have to create distance and be like, oh, I don't feel the same way. Like I it's not right for me to spend time with you. Or if they do spend time with me, they're going to have to sit there and always have it at the back of my mind that I'm sitting there yearning.
I can't be that open with people. I just can't. It's the girl boss in me is like, I am not going to be down
girl
bad.
Boss.
I refuse to be down bad for
you won't see
any
a girl
man.
boss down bad.
Absolutely
I'm so not a girl boss.
No, me either.
I'm just I'm on a fainting couch. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on a love seat,
Yeah.
just like, oh.
yeah, I'm just like,
I'm like drowning
Yeah.
somewhere. Like I'm not,
Yeah.
we're not girl bosses.
I'm a Victorian woman. I'm dying of dying of
heartbreak.
yearn.
Yeah,
Yearn,
of
of
dying
yearn.
of yearning.
No,
Yeah.
I can't. I had a guy recently tell me, because it's interesting that somebody asked this, because like I had a guy recently tell me, I had no idea that you liked me that much because you were so mean to me. And I was like, good. Then my plan worked. Like,
Yeah, because you're refusing to be vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm
so you have
refusing
this
to
hard.
be-
Your
yeah.
girl boss shell is like,
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
a bitch to him.
yeah, be a bitch. I mean, that's my
because he'll
MO.
never. You can't get hurt if you're a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing at the difference between us because literally with my ex, after our first date, I texted him the night of our first date and said, "That was amazing. When would you like to do this again?" That's always been my MO. I always like text immediately.
you.
Every good date, I'm like,
That's
that was fantastic. I had such an amazing conversation. I'm kind of a love bomber also though, like a little bit. I'm like,
love
I've
that.
never felt this
you
way
inspire
before.
me, Alana.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually.
Maybe I
need
should
to be more
actually
like
take
that.
a chapter out of your book.
I'm very feminine about it, but also very masculine in the
that's
way
the
I
thing. I
assert
think-
myself.
Yeah.
Finding that sweet spot where you can be feminine,
Yeah.
but also a little forward. A
Yes.
little straightforward.
Yes. And
you
I was
know?
always told it was a mistake. I
don't think it is.
But I think at the end of the day, and there was a period of time where really I was hurting my own feelings all the time. To be fair, like my best friend used to say that all the time. She was like, play the game a little bit. And I was like, I hate the game. And I was hurting my own feelings a lot of the time by doing this. But also looking back, I do think it was kind of a big dick move to just always be like, hey, I like you. What are you going to do about it? And they'd be like, oh, I don't really like you. And I'd be like, okay, then I'm just going to sit here and yearn.
That's so funny because my MO is like the complete opposite.
It's a little
funny.
incel-y, actually.
Yeah. No, it's not.
It's a little incel-y.
Femcelly?
It's me like I would
Femcel.
like to be with you, but I'll settle for just sitting here and watching you
and
across
watching you.
the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah. A bit,
Honestly,
a bit.
I really
And
relate
you'll
to
know-
that statement.
Yeah.
They look at me from across the room and a single tear is just running down my face.
Yeah, I can't relate to this I cannot relate to this at all. I will literally say I
Keita's
will
just amazed.
Can you just imagine if I did that to a woman?
What?
Just sat there and was like, "What did you say?"
I'm sitting here
I'm just
yearning.
gonna sit here
I'm
and
sitting
yearn.
here yearning and like
Yeah.
teardrop staring at a woman that doesn't like
It would
me.
feel violent for me.
That would be.
For me, it's very sexy. It's very Wuthering Heights. It's
No, jail isn't sexy for me.
You're right, Keida, jail isn't sexy for you.
For us, maybe.
for
I'm
me,
not
it's
saying
just
for
very
everybody,
sexy.
just for
Jail.
me.
Yeah,
Can you imagine me in a prison?
You'd be the belle of the ball.
Honestly, I think it's fun to have like a playful banter with men, but we forget they're so sensitive deep down. So sometimes when we bully them, because I used to do this too.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah, I'm
it's
pretty
just
sure I
like,
called him like a broken individual.
I feel like you truly like beat men into the ground
I
when you're dating
do.
them
I
with
do.
your.
I'm so
humor.
uplifting. I'm not a negger at all.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
You can
I'm
tell,
not a
but-
negger. It's just like I definitely have that banter going on. Like
You neg
I
little
nag
bit.
a little, but I will say with the one that I'm thinking of, I also said some very
Yeah,
nice
no,
things.
you were very
I was
kind to
I
him,
was
too.
very kind
I agree with that.
and supportive in various ways. But I also was like, I'm not gonna let your ego get too big and make you think that like, you're perfect because you're not.
Can I share one more power play?
Yeah.
Piece of advice. So this is something that when I was in high school, my first boyfriend, Matt, he was awesome. He looked like Christian Slater in the Heathers and acted
Love.
like him too. So he was kind of like a little bit of that energy. And but we had a great relationship and he was awesome. And he was really smart. And I remember one time he was telling me, he was like, if you ever want to disarm a man, like a man that you're flirting with, he was like, if you ever want to disarm a man, go up to him and tell him that he's beautiful because men are never told that they're beautiful. And it's a very disarming compliment. And it will kind of like stop them in their tracks. So for years, what I would do, this is like also extremely pickup artist vibes of me. And
Hello,
Selena,
my
a pickup
lady.
artist. But I would go up to a guy, because here's the thing is like, no one wants to humiliate themselves. So there's a way to compliment somebody, because you don't know if you see a hot guy at a bar, you don't know if they're in a relationship or if they're not interested, gay, whatever, like you just don't know. So I found the perfect technique. So what I would do is I would walk up to a really hot guy. Often the douchier the better, because it was just fun to watch the reaction. I'd go up to a really hot guy at the bar, and even if they were in the middle of a conversation, and I would tap them and I would say, hey, I just wanted to say, You're so beautiful. And I just wanted to say that. Like, you're really just kind of stunning. And that's all I wanted to say. And then you start to walk away.
Can you imagine if I tried to do this?
9 times out of
Never.
10. 9 times out of 10. Here's the thing. It goes one way or the other. They either go, oh, thank you so much. That's really kind. And you move and they let you walk away. Or they go, wait, what's your name? So I used to do that all the time.
I
Cleaned
might
up.
steal that. I would do that.
I think you guys, the next time we go to the bar, you guys need to force me to do that and like just record what
Yes.
happens.
But the key is to be not to be like fangirly, like
Or
where you're like, you're
flirty
just so,
even.
it's
Just
like you
like-
literally just like, wow.
yeah, I just
You're
want to let you
beautiful.
know.
You're beautiful. I just wanted to
Yeah,
say.
I just wanna let you
and-
know, yeah.
And almost like it stopped you in your tracks.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that. And I hope you have a really beautiful evening
Wow,
and walk away.
that's some great advice.
Yeah, that should, everyone listening,
Yeah.
take note.
Take
Wait,
note.
hold on.
Keida, are you telling me that
Hold
if I
on.
walked up to you at a bar and I told you you were beautiful in a way that felt like I had been arrested by your beauty,
Okay,
that you wouldn't stop and go, wait, what's your name?
if you looked like me, I'd run. You're
Wait,
a
what?
model. You're a model.
No,
Right.
but it's a tactic for women to approach men.
I think
When men do it to
yeah,
women,
but-
it feels like a play.
Yeah, but
When women do it to men, men are none the
exhausted.
wiser.
if a good-looking woman did that, sure. But if an unattractive or average
Then it's
woman
just a
did
compliment. Then she's just paid this man a compliment. And he
Yeah.
goes,
Are
Yeah.
you,
It's
are
foolproof.
You suggesting that this is? Am I reading this wrong? You're suggesting this is a tactic to.
it's a pickup tactic, but it's a tactic to gauge someone's interest. But it's a foolproof tactic to gauge interest, because if they're not interested in you, there's no loss, because they just go, nobody's gonna say, get out of here, you dog-faced bitch.
And if they do,
They're just gonna say, regardless, they're gonna say, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Even if they're not interested, even if they don't stop you.
Or they're
so
married,
it's
or,
foolproof.
you know.
Yeah. Oh, this is my girlfriend. And you go, she's beautiful too. And then you move
Exactly.
along.
you guys are gonna
truly
have
a
beautiful
compliment.
kids.
I'm gay. That's fantastic. So is my dad. No, I'm kidding.
no wonder I'm attracted to you. It's my love map.
I also deviating from the subject, but my dad's in Portugal right now, and he made a friend who's a male, and immediately I was like, oh my God, I hope my dad comes out as gay. Like, me having a gay dad would be so fun for me.
You can have mine.
I could see it. I
my
could see
dad
it for him.
played Pink Pony Club first thing in the morning when I was visiting Arizona.
My dad
Blasting.
My dad's like favorite band is like Lawrence, who's like some nepo baby Gracie Abrams adjacent band, and it's like a 5-part band with like strings and horns, and like I'll just come home, be watching these teeny boppers, and I'm like, Dad, what are you watching?
Yeah.
Or it's like bootleg musicals. Like,
Yeah.
I talk about it in my act, and like I'm not kidding. Like I literally come home and I find my dad watching Pippin. And
Honestly, though, we both have like a
Femme
similar
dads.
type of mom.
That's
so
true.
I feel like our dads just are like connected with their feminine. They like pop music.
Yeah.
You
My
know what I-
mom always said that when her and my dad first started dating, all of her friends thought he was gay. And they would
funny.
they'd be like, honey, are you sure? Like,
That's what's gonna happen to me, I fear.
Oh,
when I
100,
meet the
yeah.
one, people are gonna be like, are you sure he's straight? And I'm like, yeah, babe.
Yeah.
Like, don't be fooled.
as far as I know. All right, ladies, we did it. Episode 9. Thank you guys for
Wow.
joining. Like, comment, subscribe. Please leave a comment. Shout out Rah Rah from
oh yeah, who are you?
Yeah, Rah Rah from
Who are
Spotify who
you?
commented, we love Izzie. Or
No,
Izzie, what did they say?
They
Izzie?
said they perceive me as ethereal,
Which
which is
she
never
is.
what I would have
You
guessed.
are.
You are. Also, shout out
Thank
Gina
you.
Cloud.
Shout out Gina Cloud.
Gina
Shout out,
Cloud.
shout out Gina Cloud. We love all of your wonderful comments. You are our queen. We'll have you on soon. Thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe to us on YouTube at Night School Dropouts. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.